Atimu versus Chekhov. Looks like we're starting off with Draven Scion versus Draven Scion.
All right, let's get these mulligans up here. And we actually, I think, did we manage to avoid this mirror match the entire...
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Draven Scion is still getting banned a lot.
Look at us.
I need to look at Chekhov's list because I'm staring at Atimu's Draven Scion, and there is something missing, and I cannot identify what it is.
Atimu's Draven Scion?
Yeah, there's not enough units. Something very common is missing, and I cannot notice it at a glance.
Boom Boom Boom, Reborn, Fallen Rider, Sump Dredger. Oh, there's definitely something missing. Is it a 3-cost unit? No.
That's what I thought.
Well, here, let's go to Chekhov's list.
Yeah, that was my idea. Not noticing anything?
Is it just see?
Oh, probably just like Aloof Travelers has been cut by both players.
No, Arachnoid Sentry I think is what we're probably seeing is missing, because
that's not like
it's not always in there. But I will say Chekhov also playing a little bit differently. We saw this and noticed this yesterday. There's 2 precious pets in here as well for Chekhov.
Yeah,
going a little bit more the fearsome route, which I imagine because of the change to Lost Soul and Twin Blade Revenant being now fearsome. So maybe just kind of going a little bit more all in on that fearsome. But we do have the Sentry here on the side of Chekhov. And Atimu are going to get that Reborn Grenadier out to actually block here, prevent the damage. Definitely like the defensive Reborn Grenadier. Feels good.
And I think Atimu should have the read now that there is a second Arachnoid Sentry in Chekhov's hand, solely because Atimu has the attacks on odds, which means that Scion, if it comes down on curve, will just be able to attack. And that is the entire reason that you play Arachnoid Sentry. More or less, is to be able to stop those Scions on 7. So the fact that Atimu has the attack token on 7, and Chekhov going for this sort of awkward Arachnoid Sentry to stop a Draven attack on 3 should really tip off Atimu to the fact that there's just another one waiting in the wings.
Did Atimu not add you, by the way?
He did not.
Okay, I was confused for a second. I was like, wait a second. I know it's a mirror match.
Oh, were you showing 2 hands?
Yeah, I was like, these hands look oddly familiar, even though it's a mirror match.
Apologize for that, everybody. Doza, due to production, it's his first time.
I'm multitasking, okay?
Try it out. And he's just doing a terrible job. You should all go on Twitter and flame him.
I'm used to it.
Is this why you don't really use Twitter? Because I always dog you on stream, and then people are like, yeah, we should dog JDoza.
When I'm not on stream, I know I seem like a happy guy, but when I'm home, everybody, please pray for me. I cry in a corner because Boulevard bullies me all the time, and it's a rough life. And things aren't looking good for me right now.
That sucks.
Yeah, and Boulevard doesn't even care half the time. This is what we get.
Couldn't be me. I'm doing phenomenal.
So Draven coming in here for Atimu. And Atimu also notably having Twin Blade Revenants already on field and online and available. So I got to think that in the mirror match anyways, that is a huge advantage being able... Because you have to block these, right? I mean, if you take too much damage in the mirror match, you will lose. But you will also lose if you trade away all of your units when your opponent can just get more free units. So I got to say Atimu is really the one that's in control here.
And with neither player playing any copies of Aloof Travelers, these Twin Blade Revenants being on the board doesn't mean that Chekhov can now freely fire away an Aloof Travelers to try to discard a Scion or a Captain Farron.
Yeah.
We're just kind of stuck here, saying that, yeah, I'm allowed to freely run out these Twin Blade Revenants. If these had Challenger, this would almost be game over.
Yep.
The trading power would just be too much. But now that they are stuck on Fearsome, then like this Arachnoid Sentry and this Boom Baboon just make things a little bit easier for Chekhov in order to stalwart these big units. But yeah, I mean, everything's going Atimu's way. As you had mentioned, we've got the Twin Blade advantage. We've got the Scion on 7 advantage, and Chekhov doesn't even have Scion. Discarded it a little bit earlier to grant Overwhelm onto that Arachnoid Sentry to get the rummage off.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no Scion in Chekhov's hand. We can't see Atimu's hand, but I mean, already with the Twin Blade Revenants, if Atimu does have a Scion, with turn 7 coming up, we can pretty freely play the Scion. I mean, you'd have to have like a couple Get Excited or something to really have that hurt you, to have it be removed.
We've got the Arachnoid Sentry, like we had mentioned a little bit earlier, and Atimu probably knows that because of how aggressively the first one was played, but like,
You don't
Okay,
you
yeah,
don't
you
care.
stopped my Scion
Yeah,
attack on
whatever.
7.
It doesn't
Now it's
matter.
turn 8, and I have a Scion. Well, what are we doing here? Do you want to attack and damage my Scion? Because both players are running one copy of Ravenous Flock. Because 1, it's a very good card, but 2, it has the capability to kill your own Scion and give you that rally when you really want it.
Yeah. And we're actually going to get the blocks here from the Twin Blade Revenants. So instead of them being blocked on the attack, this is essentially still accomplishing the same thing. And either way you look at it, they are positively trading with the board of Chekhov. Now, Chekhov seemingly is going to get this Draven strike through. Maybe we're going to get
I would imagine the spell on the stack is doing something to that Draven. I don't know if it's a Whirling Death or a Mystic Shot.
Hey, the 2 health had an impact. Here we go. We finally saw it.
There are so many times where I'm in a situation like this where I'm like, all right, I want to put Mystic Shot on the stack, and then I want to Spinning Axe my Mystic Shot and have it deal 3 damage.
Well, and yesterday we saw Draven so many times, and so many times didn't feel like the 2 health really came into play. In this mirror match, this is probably the most impactful, matchup with that health change, I think, because there's 3 Mystic Shots in these decks. So
any Piltover and Zon matchup, really, but I mean, how many Piltover and Zon decks are there? I can only think of Draven, Scion, and Shellfolk.
Yeah, and Shellfolk's probably the other one, but again, I don't. Shellfolk's not all over the place. I think Draven Scion is really the one that we're seeing pop up everywhere. So, and now, I mean, you look at this field, you look at the hand sizes and the quality of cards in Chekhov's hand too. I mean, this is not it. This is get me out. This is not what you want to see in this mirror match. Yeah, just go next. This is like you not only don't have the Twin Blade Revenants that your opponent has, the cards that you are stuck with are nowhere near the quality of even just the Twin Blade Revenants. Like, you want maybe at least 1 Lost Soul. That would help. A Captain Farron might actually give you some sort of breath of hope here, but yeah, Scorched Earth is not it either, man. This is not looking pretty for Chekhov.
No, and I mean, Atimu, this might just be the Scion turn. We might just forgo it. Okay, yes, there comes Scion. This is going to be met with Arachnoid Sentry, and then what do? Do you sacrifice your Flame Chompers to push through potentially a little bit of damage? I mean, this is Chekhov's window, right? Is go as wide as possible on this Scion turn and just try to deal as much damage as possible before you die to this Scion while Atimu sets up the board. Because at the moment, like, these Lost Souls still need to get discarded.
Oh, yeah. We have a Scion off the top, too, for Chekhov. Yeah, so, like you just mentioned, we might be able to have a really wide attack here. All right, we're just going to go with the Scion first. Yeah, this is...
Scion off the top is exactly what Chekhov was looking for to get back in this game.
Wow. This might be just enough. And the Flame Choppers versus Scion in the mirror match is actually huge because you could pull the Scion to avoid it being blocked, and Flame Choppers with 0 attack. Obviously not going to damage the Scion to even activate Atimu's, something like a Ravenous Flock. So this is really good for Chekhov. This might have been the exact draw that would get him out of the situation. But we do still have 11 man on the side of Atimu, so...
Yeah, Atimu is not running the Arachnoid Sentry. Elected not to play that tech card, which does mean that the Scion is going to go through. And normally you like to kill Scion while your opponent has the attack token, so they don't really get to take advantage of that rally.
Double Get Excited?
Up like a Mystic Shot Flock, it'd have to be to Get Excited, which is a pretty big mana commitment for the turn, as well as takes away a lot of your burn potential later on. On top of the fact that it doesn't develop any units, any blockers. So you're still taking the 10 damage from the Scion and all of these other units while your Scion gets pulled to the side. If this is double Get Excited onto Scion and there are no additional units or spells from Atimu, he just loses. There's 20 damage lined up exactly for DrChekhov right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's 21, but...
And, yeah, like, you can always play it on the attack, too, right? So... Or, well, no, because then you don't prevent the rally, so you'd want to have to play it here. Yeah. All right, so there's the additional unit. Okay. This is going to pull the Scion, and then we're going to have that 1/4/2 blocker likely lined up onto our Fallen Rider as well. But that's 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 with the axe if we want Boulevard, which means we at least...
I don't think we axe, but...
I'm just... Well, you might consider very, very it close. Because we open ourselves up to a Mystic Shot top deck if we do commit the axe.
This could be, if there are 2 Get Excited in Atimu's hand like we were thinking, they'll probably get thrown onto other units here.
And we got to remember, too, Atimu now has... Like, Atimu's going to get the attack token next turn, and now Atimu has their own 11-6 Scion, their 10-6 Scion.
Yeah, but that Scion, I mean, Chekhov can just take the damage, especially if burn spells are committed by Atimu here,
Yep.
really upping the amount of life that Chekhov is allowed to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hand of Atimu at this point is pretty much a known factor. There's only 2 unknown cards, not including the 2 spells that are about to get played here. So yeah, there's a Mystic Shot, there is a Get Excited.
Okay. So that does prevent a lot of damage. Now it's going to be basically, well, and we have enough mana to play a Twin Blade Revenant as well.
Yeah.
So this will be a Scion and Twin Blade Revenant at minimum from Atimu attacking. So the field parity is kind of lined up again. We also could get another Twin Blade down.
If Atimu plays Twin Blade and attacks, Chekhov just blocks with Scion and wins on the crackback.
Yeah.
It's a rough situation when one player gets the Scion attack off like full force, and I mean Chekhov has played this beautifully. The cards have fallen into his lap in the exact way that they needed to come back from the deficit of the Lost Souls that we were really talking up in the early to mid game, because we got the Scion to connect to the Nexus. Boom, we have 10 health swing. Our opponent's down to 7. We're at 20. Now that Atimu is getting the attack token with the Scion, we can just block with Scion, and then we'll both get Scion Reborn. But, I have priority because I am not turn player. You just attack. Now it's my attack token. Let me just send that Scion right back in. Scion Reborn is down to 4 HP. I have an axe. Boom, that's 7 overwhelm damage.
Wow, this is such an interesting matchup. Like, just to see the Scion versus Scion here, and like you mentioned, if you ever block with the Scion versus the other one, they get the rally. So it is a lot of thought that has to go into when you're actually attacking, and you have to think of the next 2 to 3 attack turns just to really figure out if you're going to have enough life to live and take damage. And there is a Lost Soul with the axe in hand, and even with the Zonai Urchin. So now we're going to get our own Twin Blade Revenant train going. There's a Captain Farron, though, on the side of Atimu.
Captain Farron is really big because that is not... There's no longer lethal for Chekhov.
Yeah, it's a good blocker.
It's too big.
Yep.
And if Atimu just goes in with the Farron attack, and then let's say Chekhov blocks with the Scion and then sends back in the Scion Reborn, Atimu just blocks with Scion. That's enough health to survive again, and then gets to sort of swing things back. This has been a really back and forth match where Atimu had a very solid advantage in the early game, and then Chekhov finds the exact cards that you need to try and come back from that kind of deficit, and then Atimu once again finds an out in this Captain Farron to make things really awkward for how Chekhov wants to navigate the very short remainder of this game.
Wow. What a big card in the mirror match coming down to it here with the Captain Farron.
Good old Benny Farron.
Good old Benny Farron. And I don't know if the decimates will ever actually come down to it, because both players have to really be very aware of the tempo on board. So I don't know if we'll get a shot to fire those off, but I don't know if we'll need to.
This attack might lose the game for Atimu.
Yeah,
because we have Scorched Earth. So if we block, we block Scion with our Scion, we block Farron with just one of our 2/1s, that sets it up for the Scorched Earth if it tries to block the Scion Reborn. Atimu's totally out of mana.
We can attack with the Twin Blade Revenant, though, I think. I'm surprised to not see the Twin Blade Revenant. I mean, maybe just thinking that, obviously, our Scion, on the side of Chekhov, Scion can block the Twin Blade Revenant and get the free trade. And then maybe you can Ravenous Flock your own Scion, and maybe that's what Atimu is scoring out there. But yeah, here we go. We're going to get the double rally with both Scions button heads here.
And this is scary because I think Chekhov really wants to develop a little bit more, but he's taking 4 damage here. I don't think he's dead on the open if he plays something like this Sump Dredger to see if he can find a way to get the execute onto the Captain Farron. But it will give the attack token back over to Atimu, or the priority rather back over to Atimu when both players have the attack token, who can just then swing in with a Scion Reborn and a Captain Farron. I don't think it's lethal, but I haven't mapped it out.
Wow, I've never seen, really in any card game, because of this Scion, it's so interesting seeing all these giant units with Overwhelm on field, but we can't attack with them all because of very specific reasons. Because we need to preserve our health. We need the 8 health on the Farron for a blocker. We can't do the rally for our opponent. Now we do finally go, okay, we're going to commit these rallies. Atimu and Chekhov both rally up here. Chekhov, if we develop anything, we're going to leave ourselves open to another big attack from Atimu. So the question is, do we actually develop anything? We have the Twin Blade and the Sump Dredger. We can develop both.
You develop if you're Chekhov, because what is Atimu's attack, right? If you
It's
attack
not
with
lethal.
Captain Farron, yeah, exactly. Like, so Atimu can't win on this attack. And if you attack with Captain Farron, it opens it up to the Scorched Earth that it seems like Atimu has been playing around by not attacking with it previously. Okay, we're going in with it.
We're going for it.
This might be lethal then for DrChekhov.
Yeah, we have enough mana for the Scorched Earth and even the Sump Dredger. That insult to injury and really just going for a wide attack here. Here we go. Okay, we're pulling it back again. That's twice in a row now with Atimu.
Didn't attack with Farron the first time, thinking about pulling it. I'm not attacking with it again this time. And like, this is still just, it feels really good for Chekhov because we're a lot wider than Atimu is.
Yep.
And we can probably just deal, a significant amount of damage with the Scion Reborn this turn, and then maybe even just win with a wide open attack. I like that no block from Chekhov. Let's see how we want to use this Sump Dredger now. You might as well play it, right?
Yeah, here we go. There's a Mystic Shot is huge. Yeah, I think that's game for Chekhov. I think Chekhov's got it. Now, we think... All right, remember earlier, though, we thought there was another Get Excited in Atimu's hand. So there might still be one in there.
Well, there was he was lining up 2 spells, which ended up being Mystic Shot, Get Excited onto the 2 units. So even if he's got one Get Excited, I would imagine that is his last burn spell. And since Atimu is likely going for the open
there
attack,
we go. That's game.
No time to decimates. Yeah, Atimu able to bring it, or sorry, Chekhov able to bring it back from the brink in what looked like a very unfavored game.
Wow.
But the Twin Blade Revenants not having Challenger meant that they got a lot less done. They killed the wrong units, and just really couldn't do much with the train going on there. And Twin Blade Revenant losing Challenger is absolutely massive in the Scion mirror, because one of the things that you can do when you both have Scion Reborns is just like attack it into the ephemeral Scion Reborn, right? And take your opponent's, like, take the wind out of your opponent's sails on that
My
rally.
problem with that is, like, even though it's Fearsome and not Challenger now, you still need to block them, right? Like, because you can't take that damage. So it's essentially...
There's a big difference between taking 4 damage and losing my Scion Reborn, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like in most cases, the person with double Twin Blade Revenant for multiple turns ahead of, the person that doesn't have it should still be able to take that game. So it's crazy that Chekhov... And really, I mean, let's be honest. What it came down to that game was Chekhov top decking the Scion. Like, that's what did
perfect time. Having the Flame Chompers for the Scion turn is just a lot of things going really right for Chekhov. Atimu offering up the trade of the entire board on the previous turn, which just, worked out really well for them.
Yeah.
For Chekhov, rather. And I think the way that everybody's looking at it is, like, obviously, Twin Blade Revenant with Challenger is the best keyword you can give to it. Fearsome is probably still, like, a top 3 keyword that card could have. So, like, it's still a very good card.
Well, now we have Bandle Tree with Teemo, Fizz, and Poppy up against Ping, Poke, Bandle Pirates, whatever you want to call it. We got it here.
So I like that you didn't say city after Ping or Poke, so now it's Ping Pirates, Poke Pirates.
It's Ping, Poke Pirates.
I'm just going to call it Pirate City, which I'll probably eventually just call Party City, and then it's just the Halloween deck.
And now we forgot what the heck the deck even does. So.
Yeah. This is why we can't get too wild with naming conventions, because, like, someone tunes into the stream for the first time, and they're like, what are these guys talking about? Remember, it's the problem we run into a lot as casters, is, like, we feel like we have the power to name decks, and then we do content for websites, and they're like, no, you have to call it this, and then new viewers know what the heck are you talking about? My favorite content creator calls it this, and then someone's like, well, my favorite content creator calls it this, and all of a sudden we've got, like, a full-blown West Side Story on the name of the Bandle Pirates deck.
Wow, bringing it back to West Side Story, Jesus.
What can I say? I'm a poet.
Well, we got 3 units wide here for Chekhov, and the 1 unit for Atimu that is elusive. Teemo is going to be able to get some work done even around this wide board thanks to the elusive attribute there. But I'm thinking, this is a pretty nasty red card here. Going to be able to take down the Fizz and the Teemo. And Fizz's effect really does not affect this because it's not targeting.
Yeah, it's really important to get that Fizz off the field because it stops you from playing Make It Rain. Because if it randoms into the Fizz and then, like, a Pokey Stick comes out or something along those lines, it just cancels the entire Make It Rain thanks to Fizz's ability.
Oh, yeah.
Man, team are just drawing all the champions this game.
And, wow, this Make It Rain, so good. Not only do you clear a blocker and get 1 more damage onto the Nexus, now Poppy basically cannot block anything. I imagine we just keep the Crackshot Corsair back, attack with the 3-2 attack. Yep, and now we are golden.
Probably blocks here. I don't think Atimu is in a matchup where you can really play for the Poppy win condition.
Wait,
but it looks like I'm wrong. We're just going to flock, see what kind of board we can build up. I can't imagine Atimu has a lot left in the tank that this Poppy is going to be able to take advantage of.
The only reason I think you make that play is if in the 3 cards left in hand for Atimu, we have at least like 2 1-drops or like a 2-drop and 2 1-drops, something like that.
Maybe even Mare, and we're planning to like Poppy Mare into Telescope.
Okay, House Spider will do it. Yep.
That was off the top, though.
Yeah.
So something I was considering, and I was like, maybe we have second House Spider, but it actually just draws it off the top.
But we're in the semifinals. Good card game players know what they're going to draw, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, we saw What Am I a little bit earlier, know how many shrooms Chekhov was about to draw.
So this was all planned.
I gotta say, I never got into that level of future sight as a card game player. Maybe that was my fault. Like I feel like I was a very, very good card player, but I never obtained the power of future sight. That was my problem.
You're not Yugi with the Millennium Eye, like, or Pegasus with the Millennium Eye, I should say. And honestly, I mean, Chekhov's even got refuel here. Hidden Pathways, not necessarily always an auto include in this deck, but there are some players that opt for it because it does give you that refuel that you might need later on in the game where you still need that last couple of points of damage. And, I mean, we're well on our way towards victory. That Hidden Pathways, I think, is just enough of what we're going to need to seal the deal and do enough damage here. Not going to go in with the other Spiderling here is interesting. Okay.
I guess we just don't want that getting value traded by the Inventive Chemist when we can hold it back as, for other things. Because I don't think you really care about the damage that you're dealing to the Nexus here. I don't think you're winning through damage in this
we need
game.
to win on board again. Yeah.
Yeah, like, we need to just win on board, as you had mentioned. Kind of, like, trade things off and then see if we can sneak out a Bandletree. But
yeah.
Looks like Poppy is not long for this world, unless this gets aimed at the
face.
Nexus?
Yeah, I was gonna say possibly the Bandle Commando too, but
we're gonna go with the Nexus.
Is this gonna be Pokey Stick? Yeah, all right. This prevents one of the damage. And I mean, yeah, Poppy is not going to attack for another 2 turns, so maybe the consideration is, we're just going to end the game by then because we have 2 more damage on field. We have some more cards in hand. Ooh, that's another Twisted Fate.
Ooh, this Twisted Fate open attack is so good for Chekhov now because, this Chump block comes out. That's the block that makes the most sense. And now Chekhov gets to play another red card and clear out Poppy and the House Spider.
And deal 1 damage, very, very crucially, to the Nexus. And this is where I'm saying this Hidden Pathway is going to come in huge because we are running out of steam on the side of Chekhov. We have this removal in the Monster Harpoon, which now we can use for whatever large unit might come down this turn if something does come down. But Hidden Pathways return from Atimu as well, so this is going to be close. It's really if Chekhov can find the burn with this Hidden Pathways.
And you gotta imagine it's possible, right? It's at least
6 damage, yeah. Especially if Atimu can't get rid of both Crackshot Corsairs here on the side of Chekhov. I mean, that's really only 4 more damage you need to do.
I do want to mention that in terms of power spells, there is only 1 double up in the deck for Chekhov.
Okay.
But, I don't think these Crackshot Corsairs are going anywhere.
What happened to the days of 3 double ups in this deck? Come on, man.
I still think
that's not fun.
Cool. It's not great, but
it's another juicy red card. Holy
It's one of those things where you pay 5 mana and your opponent just plays a Sharp Sight and now you're taking more damage and you just pissed away 5 mana. Okay, Lecturing Yordle off the top.
Yeah, that's great. Another Hidden Pathways. All right, I think Chekhov's gonna be a really good spot.
Even if we take all this damage, we're going down to 8. There's no over-the-top damage in something like Bandletree. Nope. There's Pokey Stick, and that's really it. I don't think there's...
You're not worried at 8.
Loping Telescope offers any burn spells.
I
think most of the burn spells are rares.
Celestial that costs 3 or less. No.
Trickster, elusive damage is what you're really looking for. But yeah, it looks like we grabbed Draklorn Inquisitor.
Wow. And this is probably gonna go face. This Poison Dart. I think this is gonna be enough. We have 2 damage here. We're gonna have another Poison Dart on the attack with Yordle, here, and then we get 2 Crackshot Corsairs going off. This is going to be enough to do it, I think. Stone Stackers is technically the last point of damage if it does strike. We're going to Hidden Pathways first.
There is one...
Oh my god! Another Twisted Fate. Jesus.
There are technically 2 7-mana burn spells.
For epics?
Yeah, we've
got True Shot Barrage
True Shot Barrage and Dragon's Rage.
Oh, I forgot about Dragon's Rage. Dragon's making a comeback.
It's like kind of a burn spell. In theory, you could also get Dawn and Dusk onto an elusive.
Okay.
Never mind, Dawn and Dusk is not an epic. No, that's Shadow Flare.
I'm surprised, or maybe not. I mean, I guess we want to keep the mana open for the harpoon just in case. Not playing the Yordle there, Stone Stackers. Bandle City Mare coming down though. I think we've got this.
We've got lethal anyway with Poison Dart red card.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yep.
And that means that DrChekhov will be, I believe, making his first finals appearance at an online league series, going up against Quoth, who took it over Deriva.
Nice.
And Quoth's lineup. It's a little interesting, Doza. Because he's playing Lee Sin Akshan.
Hey, that's a deck I haven't seen in a hot minute. Let's go. Very excited to see that in the finals.
Once Chekhov is able to put this red card on the stack, shouldn't be anything that Atimu can do to stop that unless this Bandle City Mayor found a Loping Telescope that can find us a Rite of Negation. But it's just a Hungry Owlcat coming down, so...
Yep, there's the red card. Gonna pop the Spell Shield as well as the other 2 1-health units and end the game there, which is really what matters. And Chekhov, like Boulevard mentioned, advancing to the finals of OLS 33.